This is the SteelSeries Apex M750. It's our new sort of esports mechanical gaming keyboard, features their own QX2 Linear mechanical switches and feel very similar to Cherry MX Reds, although with a bit of a lighter actuation force. In fact, these are incredibly light switches. This is a fairly expensive keyboard. At the time of filming, SteelSeries are selling it on their own website for about £150, so one of the more pricey keyboards on the market, but is it worth it? Let's find out. So a quick tour around the keyboard. As you can see, this one is a standard UK ISO layout, which is fantastic for me as a British person, but of course you can get it in different styles depending on where you are. And also, as I said, these use the QX2 red mechanical switches. These are SteelSeries own switches. And as I said, the actuation force is incredibly light on these. The actuation point, or the actual kind of point where the key switch activates, is pretty precise. But I would mention that I did end up double tapping and accidentally tapping a lot of keys just because I'm used to Cherry MX Browns and not the lighter or especially light versions of these QX2 switches. This is a fully RGB enabled keyboard and actually has some interesting features, including using the SteelSeries engine software, which is actually pretty nice and means that you can remap all the keys. The SteelSeries engine software allows you to actually use GIFs on the keyboard, which is kind of crazy, but also allows for more standard lighting modes and of course reactive and just generally active lighting modes too. So it is pretty cool and actually allows you to mix them a little bit as well, so pretty interesting. It is per key backlighting, so you can pretty much do whatever you fancy. And in terms of, as I said, the SteelSeries engine software, you can remap any of the keys, although there are not any extra macro keys here at all. In fact, there are no extra keys in general, except for that FN key down the bottom, or function key, or SteelSeries key, that allows you to use the function buttons up the top for media playback and to change the LEDs and stuff like that. One of the interesting designs that SteelSeries has stuck with their Apex keyboards is their foam or sort of silicon bottom pieces to actually raise and lower the keyboard. So instead of what most standard keyboards have, which is feet that you can flip out, these you actually have to have the spare feet available and you physically replace them into the bottom of the keyboard. You have these standard ones that come pre-installed, which are the low profile ones, and then you have the more domed feet, which you can push in and sort of have a more raised typing experience. Overall, the actual typing feel on these are actually pretty good. My overall experience was that because of how light the key switches are, it was a little bit difficult to get used to, but if you do get used to it and spend some time using it, I think you'll enjoy it all just the same. Although I would mention that this is a really loud keyboard. Here is a sound test for you. Despite the fact that these key switches aren't tactile or clicky in any manner, they're linear key switches, this, just due to the design of the board, the keycaps and the key switches themselves, does mean that this is, as said, fairly loud. It's not a deal breaker though, it's just something to be aware of if you're planning on using this in I guess an office environment, or you've got kids nearby. But either way, it is still a pretty nice keyboard, and as I said, typing experience was decent enough once you get used to it. Now for the main event, gaming. I was playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is slowly becoming an esport, although I'm sure plenty of people will tell you it's not esports ready, but that's a different video and conversation. Either way, I was actually having a lot of fun playing with it. I felt like it was a little bit too light for me personally, but I know that on the more MOBA side of things and where actions per second matters a lot, this could actually be pretty interesting. I haven't had a Cherry MX speed switch available to really compare these two, but it feels fairly similar to the key testers that I've played with and stuff like that. So if you are interested in ridiculously light switches that are very easy to actuate multiple times and stuff like that, then this actually might be a pretty good shout for you, and that's kind of the reason why they're labeling it as more of an esports keyboard. So is it worth the £150 price tag? Well, for me personally, I would say no, because one, I'm not an esports player necessarily, and even when I do play, Battlegrounds and stuff like that, I am more preferential to my Coolmaster Master Keys Pro L rather than this one personally, and I prefer Cherry MX Brown switches rather than these ones. But if you are someone who cares about actions per second and stuff like that, then this is a really interesting keyboard for you. Of course, at that sort of price point, there are a few other options available, including cheaper varieties, including the Corsair ones that have the speed switches in them as well. So yeah, there's a bit of competition available, but if you're interested in the actually very nice SteelSeries software, and if you're interested in all the funky RGB effects, and you want a fairly loud yet linear keyboard, then this could could be interesting for you. When it comes to scoring, for me, this is going to be a 4 for value for money. I think it will be a 4.5 for performance as well as functionality and styling too. And I think in terms of TechteamGB score, it will be a 4 with a Pro Gamer Approved award. This is a pretty nice keyboard, and especially if you are on that high-end pro gaming scene, then this could be pretty interesting for you, and I definitely recommend you check them out if you can, have a play with one, especially if you know someone that has one. It's definitely worth a little play. But overall, I think if you're a more standard user, then there might be better options available, especially for that sort of price tag. So that's about it. If you want to know any more about the keyboard, feel free to check out the link in the description down below for you. And if you want to support me and keep me making these videos on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday basis, check out the Amazon and Overclockers UK affiliate links in the description down below, and please use them when you're buying anything on either of those sites. It does genuinely help me out and supports me making these videos on a regular basis. I'd also appreciate checking out the merch link and all the other links that are in the description down below, as they all do help me. And if you want to check out more videos, then feel free to take a look at the ones over here. And of course, if you're new to the channel and these videos, then feel free to subscribe. As I said, we do videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and live streams on Thursday too. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and we'll see you all in the next video.